Good morning, everyone. Ace of Trades here. It's February 4th. We're trading looking at the ES right now, 2000 tick chart with the 21 EMA. The Bible says in Psalm 48, verse 1, Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness. So we're looking at two legs up here overnight. Got my overnight high, got my overnight low. And then we got two legs down off the overnight high, overnight low. About 3 minutes from the open. Some people might be looking for a second attempt down here on a short. I am not because of these two legs down. Even though these lows are here, um, that higher low right here got bought up. Tried to push down, got bought up pretty strongly. So I'm not looking for a short here. And then we check our news here on Forex Factory, and we got some Wednesday. Already had some ADP non-farm payrolls hit 8:15, and then we have to be aware of the 10 a.m. ISM services PMI. It's red news. Probably not, a huge spike, but it'll probably fluctuate for 5-10 seconds or so when that happens, and so you don't want to get whipsawed when that news comes out. So that's all I got right now. Just kind of watching this. We are in range right now from overnight, so we'll keep an eye on that. Again, I'm not looking for a short here necessarily because we already have these two legs down. Um, but that's where we're at right now, and I will update again when something else comes up or when I just want to update after some time has passed. Talk to you then. All right, everybody, let's just kind of talk about what's happened here so far. All right, so if we come over here, I think we were kind of like in here when my last update. So what happened here? There was some sort of server error where I could not get in. If you had an instance open like this, it still appeared to be working. But if you tried to log into a second instance, and I talked to some other traders who experienced this as well, you could not get in from probably close to the open, probably for about 20 minutes. So all this section in here, the servers were down. There's nothing you could do, even though I was able to visually watch the bars print. I was not placing an order because I didn't want something strange to happen with order placement because the goofy thing that was happening with the servers. Um, so we had these two legs down, and then it did end up pushing it down again to try to get to this overnight low. Pushed up once, up twice. This would be a tempting bar, but I'm not going to take it right into the EMA. It does work depending on what point level you're going for, and then you get I didn't draw this, but it appears like you get two legs up here from here, right? And then we go from here to here, and you're just about there. And so if you saw that print, don't know if I'd take that. Um, Again, this isn't here. That's not a range high. That's just a time period. I'm saying that the charts were down. Um, that might be one. It looks like this is capitulating for an EMA retest at least. Um, can't say I would have taken it or not. But you had these two legs up then, and then it started. It made this leg down. Um, Again, when you're in a range, you just got to be careful about uh, shorting with trends because sometimes the range kind of nullifies them. So it came down here and it made a second leg down, and I was thinking, if I get like a higher low with all this room back to the lows in the EMA, um, I'd be interested in taking a long here for a little profit off this measured move if it reacted to it. It didn't really react to it, and plus, um, this was right around 10 a.m. news, so it just occurred at a bad time anyway. I wasn't going to take this trade anyway with seconds to go to 10 a.m. when you could get whipsawed. It didn't do a whole lot, as you can see. It just kind of this bar printed really fast and then it flushed down a little more. And so then when this went this far past the measured move, I was looking for maybe a nice correction into the overnight high to take. It doesn't give you anything. You get these two legs up and you get this ugly bearish bar into the EMA. And of course you can start drawing this trend here against it. So, that's kind of blocking that entry anyway. And you can see what happens is, now I'll often say that you don't want to take um, you don't want to take trades off of um, two legs forming to try to um, like here. Like I wouldn't be trying to find a long here. First off, I'm concerned that this move down is still going to try to find a new low. And secondly, this is two legs up. So often two-legged moves that are uniform, or they just appear to be uh, creating a trend. It does end up holding, but it's not. But I know from experience, it's not something you want to rely on. And then here, I was looking for. I got rid of my correction bars there. I guess a little too early. Or no, I drew it on it. I drew it on the other screen. So what I was looking for here, now that we have this trend working up, is I was looking for. Um, I had something like this drawn. I have it on my other chart that's not on the screen. What I was looking for here is, and it started to form it, but it didn't quite make it down here. I was looking for two legs down in this area with a nice bar, and I would have been looking for a long here for this trend to retest. Okay, but once it starts doing this stuff, starts going sideways, for me, all trades are off. Some people, they might think this is failing, and that looks like a very nice bar, but you're shorting into these lows here, and it bounces there again, and it pushes up, and then it pushes up again, um, and then we'll start looking at this now. Um, Basically, you have these two legs up. This looks like a decent trade here, but I'm not a big fan of taking um, trades into new price discovery for a move. Although this move is up, or this move up is over for now. But I just but just by rule, I stay away from these. A lot of people will take these as two failed attempts higher, expecting. But the other thing you have here is, and you can see prices, whether it'll succeed or not, you don't know. But price is trying to test these highs, and if that would have ticked you in, you would have got stopped. So that's not a good area to try to take something. So this looks like this is testing this and maybe wants to go higher. We'll just have to see what happens. There's nothing to do here right now, but we'll see how it goes, and I will post the next update when something interesting happens. Okay, everybody, let's do a quick update here. So last time we left off, we had this channel up, and I talked about maybe trying to get an entry there, and then we had this spiked up here. Couldn't reach the measured move, sold off. I was hoping for maybe you get some kind of correction in here to take this channel to a new low, but it just spiked up. So you ended up with this leg. This channel had a break and a new high, and then we got this second leg down, which just kind of meandered around. I don't really see anything here to get in on. Some of these swings might look like obvious, but when you're watching it in real time, you're just concerned because you can see, you have this leg down, this is going to try potentially for another leg down. Um, and you can see the pressure here. We keep making lower lows, kind of went sideways here, lower highs. So you can feel the heaviness of this whole thing. So just to buy down here doesn't feel safe. And of course, you're selling anything. This is all just, if you're taking trades in here, this is all just inside this range. You look for what you need is you need to get like a clear range here, and then maybe you'd get a couple legs up or down. And then it just, after this, just falls down. This little leg here gets a break and a new low, and hits into the bottom, bounces here at the uh, you know, um, the measured move, which then you get a spike up. This doesn't even make a new high, and then it's selling back down, and then you get some sort of pseudo support area here. Bounces up, can't get through the EMA, bounces down. Finally does then push up off this, what turns out to be like a little support level, and then it just sells off. So off this, if this was a nice channel, you might be looking for two legs back to get in on a long, but this just kind of is really kind of weak looking and kind of just fades and rolls over. Not strong like this. Like here, I wouldn't even be looking though, because you have this downtrend that has not presented a new low. So I would be concerned about taking a long here, looking at this, because this has not played out yet, which it eventually does, but this also plays out. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes this bigger pattern will overpower the smaller pattern, and you won't even get the new high. So that's the danger of trying to go long there. And then we kind of sell off here. And so what I'd be looking for, so you have this whole move down now. Right, we got this whole move down. We'll just color this a different color. All right, to there. So we have this whole leg down. I was thinking maybe this will try to come up. At some point, I think this is going to try to come up and retest this former support, because price likes to do that. At least it's going to test it and then go down. I don't know when. I was even thinking if you had a nice clean move down, you might get a couple legs up here to retest this to maybe take a short off of. This is already looking a little dicey for shorts, because this whole move down here has like, you could look at that as maybe a new low in place. This is, discounting that as low, this is look like a second leg back. I don't think I'm really interested in taking that, because like I said, the concern here is that price may want to push up and retest this. It just kind of pushed down through and never retested this level. So I would be expecting price to at least attempt to retest this level before continuing to move down soon. And if it doesn't, if it just kind of rejects and pushes down, well then we'll look for something else to maybe short. So that's the update for now. I really don't see much in here to trade. This big pin bar here after this, this is like a tiny little range, so you could, even after you got two legs up here, break out. That's a possibility. It's aggressive. I'll just say it's aggressive. But that's a possibility there. Other than that, I don't see anything in here I like for a trade. So that's it for now. Catch up again in a little while. All right, just a real quick update here, everybody. All right, last time we left off, we were right in this area. And what I was saying is that I'm not looking for a short. Actually, let's move this off here, because this wasn't here. I wasn't looking for a short because I was looking for this level to get retested, because it provided some support, and prices will often come back to areas that were support and retest them before they continue lower, and that's exactly what happened. We had this channel break new high, just a bunch of garbage in here, nothing to try to get in, didn't make any legs down to try to get in on the new high, and then it just pushed down through. It tried one more time to go higher, and then it just failed down. And after we got that, then I started looking at this. I noticed that we make this low, we make a lower high, we push down again, and we make a lower high. And I actually did notice this earlier, but I kind of dismissed it because it wasn't fitting good um, on the bottom. Like when if I drew it like this and this, and you see how it's coming up short and pushing higher, I was like, well, that doesn't really fit well. And I think what happened here is this level of support was temporarily keeping prices from reaching the other side of this trend line. But after it fell through here, it came back down and it hit that. And so I drew this, and then um, it came up here and it's hitting this pretty well and failing off of it. And now we push way down here. Really nothing to get in there. It's just uh, so weak it couldn't even pull back. And then once it punched through these lows, it just fell down near the bottom of the channel there. And maybe this is like a bit of an overshoot. Maybe it's even like right here now that we have this price action. So we have to be aware of this channel now in all the things that we do. Um, so measured moves sometimes are not super important because unless they're coming off the high and you get like a nice correction. But like I drew this measured move before I had this channel. But it's really irrelevant because this channel is the channel is dominating the price action right now. So now this is you can see this is how weak this is. This isn't even pushing up to the other side anymore. It barely pushed up through the EMA and fell down. And usually it happens to me after I find these channels. Uh, Soon after I find it, the price action violates it. Like this will come down and like um, it'll overshoot this channel, and then it'll make it difficult to trade. Um, Maybe price will roll over into something else, but then I can't rely on this channel anymore. So once this came down to here, I really, even though this comes back to the EMA, this is like more like a double bottom one leg, and then it tries one more time, and this actually does make a new low. I wasn't really interested because this channel, this was so close to the lows that I'd be concerned that price is now going to try to reach the other side. So that could fail there. But it does make a new low and holds here, and this is fitting pretty well off there, there, and there. So I'm going to keep this on here like that for now. So I just wanted to update everybody with that. And right now, I really, based on what this has been doing, you might expect price to try to come back up here. Um, but it's really struggling to do that. So we'll see what happens, and I'll give an update next time there's something worth talking about. All right, everybody. Just update here on the chart. When we left, price was around here like this, and I said that usually when I find a channel like this, it ends up getting violated, which it did almost immediately after that. So once you get a channel, now this is a very large channel for the type of trading that we're doing, very near-term trading. But once you get an overshoot of a channel, it tends to lead to a break of the channel this way, and sometimes an outright reversal. So it tried to push higher, it pushed down again, and then we get this push up, at which point I think we got to there. Where's that? No, there. Well, I had it like that at first. And once this made two attempts to go higher and failed, I'm not really looking. I'm still wondering, is this going to go down? Um, and then when it started to push back up, I probably had this here like this. Seeing, well, maybe we're going to get two legs back up to this other side of the channel, and we'll see what happens when it gets there. It didn't. It failed back down again, started uh, meandering around this channel. This blue, I wouldn't have that drawn yet. And so then what I did, once it started then pushing up again, then what I did is I connected this and this and made this like one leg. I said, okay, if it gets here, we'll just kind of watch it. because this may be the fact that this broke, made a new high, and then never pushed down and kind of just chugged sideways here. Then that means that, excuse me, I had to do something there. Maybe it's just turning around now. But we got this push up, the second leg, and then it started to fail back down. And I was thinking, I wonder now, is this the two-legged break for this channel? Is this going to, it's kind of small though. I mean, it's nice two legs, but to go from, it's barely breaking the channel. So I was just kind of watching it. And then once I got that bounce there and we went higher here, then I drew this. Then I started to see this and I thought, I wonder if there's a channel that fits there. And it did have 3 touches, so I dragged that up there. And right here, I was looking for the way this printed like this. I was looking for this double top to like maybe close about there and take a short with big gap here to the EMA, but it just dumped it right into the EMA, so I had no trade there. And then I missed getting in this right here, and this looks pretty good. It's like 2 measured legs down. It's reacting again to the trend line. I'm actually thankful that I didn't get in because it would have stopped me out by a tick and then went right where I thought. And again, we're just playing probabilities here. That's not typically what's going to happen. Typically this is going to react here. You can see when you got other good signals, it just pushed down. And even if it pushed up, it didn't violate the stop. It would just push down. Even here, this isn't something I'm looking to take because I'm still expecting maybe this will make a new low. But even here, this tiny little swing, it just takes off from there. And what I expected was I expected that this would just take off from here. And so what I had planned is taking the scalp and a runner because I still have to be aware of this downtrend here. But this thing, for some reason, it just kind of petered around. It pushed down just one more time, and then it starts taking off like I thought it would. So we just have to be aware of that. Now, I wouldn't be looking for longs right now because now this is up against the other side of this channel. So to try to take, like if this would come back, to take a long here would be a mistake. In practice, even if it would work, because now we're expecting price to come back down here. And even though this slightly pushed out this break, if this is continuing to hold and pushing back down, we can still respect this trend line and look for maybe we get something that pushes down here and gives us an entry to come back down. Or maybe it comes back down and we can look for something off this zone to go higher again. But that was an odd one there. Had two strange kind of behaviors of the market in areas where I was looking for trade. Yesterday, you can go look at that video. And then today, right here, this looks like a great place to take a trade off this. And we can see, I mean, you can see like my thought here is correct because the way what the market does. But for some reason, it just pushes down a little bit more and then takes off. So actually glad I didn't get in that one. But it's it fits what we're trying to do. So I don't see anything else. The only thing the only other thing I would maybe see is if this had pushed up and made like uh like a pin bar here to go short with room to the EMA. This thing here, I think what concerns me about this is this second leg up, not much room here to the EMA. Otherwise, you could kind of look at this as a bigger break, new high, but there's only, I don't know, 2.5 points there to the EMA. So it could putz around here, and then continue going higher. So that's the update for now. And I'll come back whenever there's something else to do. All right. Well, see you then. All right, everybody. We're into the market close now. I didn't get anything today. Um, we stopped talking about market right about here. I discussed how I almost got in that right there. I tried to actually I had my order waiting, and then once this bar printed, this ticked up quickly and pushed down, and I didn't get to place my order. Once it went that way, I was like, what is going on? Because what I was expecting is what it's been doing. All these other swings when it hits an extreme, it just reverses. Here, this pushed down very low, and I thought that's just not what I was expecting to happen here. But anyway, we pushed up, then we kind of had this drawn, and I think price was working up here whenever I cut the video last. And what ended up happening is it pushed through. It ended up forming this trend, and this was a little bit difficult to determine what was going on here because the trend didn't set up neatly. So it was hard for me to figure out, was it like this, and then we had this little overshoot, or was it like, if we move this here, was it more like this off here, like that? Which in case you might have had to break a new high, but I wasn't really happy about this was going sideways here, so we didn't really off this trend channel. Didn't really get anything really clear. I don't like how this entry here is all basically, basically you're basically trapped here by a short-term channel like that. So you're basically entering right into this move down. If this had been two nice clean legs down to here, then that looks like a good entry, but I didn't like how this was uh, kind of all one move down and stuck inside this channel. So I wasn't quite sure about what was going on here because we overshot this, and then this overshoot kind of turned into like a steeper channel out of there. So because we had an overshoot of this channel, I was already cautious about looking for longs anyway. And then we started going sideways, and we had these two legs down. And if you would get these two legs out of that came like off of something clean, like maybe it was off of, like, if you had this channel like this, and there is a bit of an overshoot here, but if you look at a higher time frame, this channel here actually looks pretty good. Like if you look at the 4,000 tick time frame, which we can go over there real quick, and you can see here, uh, this is the channel we're talking about here on the 4,000 tick. So if we could even draw it like off the top here. You can see how you can draw it like this, right? And that's fitting very nicely there. And then off this side, that looks pretty good. Uh, my only issue is here, this gets very sideways. This doesn't, push back up. It's a very kind of odd structure. You do get these two legs down. I normally don't trade the 4,000 tick time frame because the bars just get too big. And here you're right into the EMA. You can see how this kind of struggles. So if we come back over here, um, this just looked like this was failing down, and this printed very quickly and then pushed up into that. So, it's I don't like there's just some things I don't like about it. I don't like that this was overshot and that we moved very sideways up here. There's nothing clear as a I wasn't sure about it. I wasn't sure about the channel itself, like I talked about earlier. So we moved down, and then we did. Um, this did push up. Then really struggles here. Pushes up again, and then finally there's. I think this is 350. This candle here. Um, you have to. And one thing you have to be aware of if you trade real close to the close is 350. There's a lot of. There's a big. Uh, There's always a heavy volume comes in at 350. I'm not sure if it's people just closing their positions out for the day or whatever. So you could get whipsawed at 350. But this two legs down and it tries to push up. It actually makes a technical new high and then it comes back down. And I was hoping this gets very close to the close. Then you can see down there the time. Um, and then so this didn't really, kind of unfortunate that this move happens so close to the close. And you can see now, move down, it spikes way up to there, and then you get the second leg down. So that's pretty much it for today. Get rid of some of this stuff. The only place I really looked for something was here. Of course, I'm looking for stuff all the time, but nothing is setting up, and I talked about that one there. Uh, but the issue with it is that we could be heading up to the other side of this channel, so that might be a premature short there. And of course, there's places where we're looking for things, but it just doesn't set up. Um, so that's pretty much it for today. Zoom out one more time. Get a look at a lot of volume today. Just not getting many good setups. Not getting many good setups. I mean, so much that losing the colors of the bars to fit everything on the chart. But that's kind of how we finished there for today. So I'll be back again tomorrow. Do another video hopefully. So I will see you then.